Thank you for joining us today. My name is Christine Torres. Today's workshop is Virtual Scholar, Keys to Succeeding in Online Courses. I am the Director for Academic Success Initiatives in the Pioneer Center, and I work on the Houston campus. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please don't hesitate to ask. Use the emoji features or use the chat button. All right, so we're going to get started with the first thing, and that's going to be using the chat button or the emojis, whatever you feel more comfortable with. What's one thing about being an online student that has surprised or has challenged you? So we don't need complete sentences. Just write something in the chat, take your microphone off. I want you to be able to share how you're feeling because more than likely somebody in this presentation or somebody watching this presentation is also going to benefit from some of the feedback. All right, so I see some stuff in the chat. Let me pull that up. Staying engaged. Yes.
Not having actual discussion questions between making a post and then replying to other people's posts.
Discussion questions. Great. I welcome more questions when we get to that part, but we are going to get to that part as well. So I want to be able to support you through this journey. But discussion questions, okay? Any other challenges or surprises? Maybe it's that you just feel disconnected. Maybe there's work that you don't understand. Maybe it's just that you have a bunch of responsibilities on your plate and you feel that you're being pulled in different directions. Online classes may not be easy, as easy as face-to-face classes because they require a lot more flexibility and a lot more self-discipline. And I want you to know that it does take someone like you who is willing to still learn how to adapt, prioritize, and most importantly, to make sacrifices. It's not easy to balance school with work, family, obligations, responsibilities. So I want you to know that this is a platform that I want to have all of these discussions in so that we can help, so that I can help support you and others on the call can support each other with how to stay engaged and how to get through some of these things. So I see some more things in the chat. Being able to decipher which information will be beneficial to my career and regular feedback. Thank you for participating in the chat. Let's get started. This is an overview of what we're going to be covering today. We're going to be talking about engaging with course material, time management techniques, building relationships in virtual environments, and then we're going to conclude with academic support. If I forgot to mention this, there will be a copy of the PowerPoint in the uploaded video to YouTube. It would be also emailed to anybody who is registered. Okay. All right. Engaging with course material. So let's get started. It's very important that you log in and stay engaged and that this is on a regular basis. I want to talk to you about 2 Chrome extensions. If you haven't heard about them, you're more than welcome to look at those. If you just Google Chrome extension, Task for Canvas, and Chrome extension, Better Canvas, you're able to see a quick video and some highlights on what these extensions do. And then if you'd like them, it's something that you can download into your browser. But they are helpful in helping with you remember what tasks need to be completed, due dates, assignments, and then that's the task for Canvas. The Better Canvas is just a way for you to feel better connected and with your Canvas account. So it lets you play with colors, formatting, things like that. So consider those. But
I
logging
just put it
in,
over to the side and keep working.
I'm going to go ahead and mute. So logging into your Canvas account and staying engaged is very important, but it's also very difficult. It's very important because it helps you keep connected and knowing about important deadlines, updates, maybe some discussions that are going on that are outside of the course material, or just when an assignment is due. So even small, consistent engagements can make a big difference in your success. So make sure that you're staying engaged with that. Maybe you struggled a little bit. Maybe you haven't been logging in as regularly as you should, or you feel you should. This is a great opportunity for you to start. If you've fallen behind in the coursework, It can feel overwhelming, but you're not alone. A lot of students go through this, but this is not a time to give up. It's a time to evaluate where we're at and then come up with a plan. So let's talk about that. The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you understand the course syllabus for the class. Make sure you understand any late policies that are included in the class. You also want to make sure that you are aware of the course rubric, and that is how your overall grade is compiled for this class. Take a look at the assignments maybe that you haven't completed or you still have to complete, and get a good understanding of how you stand in that class. If this does feel overwhelming, please reach out to your instructor because things happen. Life happens. Maybe you've had some unexpected challenges, you've had other priorities, or you just feel unmotivated. Reach out to your instructors to see what the best advice they can give you, if there's an opportunity to turn it in, or if you just have to make a plan to move forward. So the key is to recognize where you stand and then start looking at where you need to be. I've included a link here to the academic calendar, and it's very important that we know how to access this information in the event that we want to make certain changes to our academic schedule as far as dropping classes and the dates when we want to do those and the deadlines we have to do those by. I'm going to drop this in the chat, but you'll also have access to it from the PowerPoint. But please take a look at that and please make sure that you are aware of any deadlines that might be approaching as far as how that would impact your overall grade, your degree plan, your financial aid. And it's very important that when you're reaching out to your instructor that you also think about reaching out to your advisors, looking for tutoring, looking for that additional support. Then you're going to prioritize and create a catch-up plan. If there is a course that has a big assignment that is worth the majority of your grade, that needs to be priority. If there is a class that you need to graduate, that needs priority. So what I want you to understand is priority is going to look different to everyone. It might be a class, it might be an assignment, it might be an opportunity for extra credit, but look at those and strategize how you're going to move forward. Then you want to make sure that you create and follow a detailed weekly schedule. I'm going to get into a weekly schedule a little bit further when we cover time blocking, but this is very important that you come up with a plan, and we'll talk about how to do that as well. So let's move on. Active engagement with lectures. You want to make sure that before lectures, you are reading. And I know this can be difficult if you do not have a scheduled time to watch a lecture. It might be a recording, it might be a video, it might be an assignment. But reviewing that information before you read the video, doing the reading before you read the video or attend a lecture is very important, because this serves as that first opportunity for you to be familiar with what's going to be covered in class. So if you don't read before you sit in on a video or in a lecture, you're going to feel even more disconnected, because that would be the first time. So then it leads into writing everything, just taking excessive notes, because we can't differentiate what we need and what we don't need. The things that you would need are items that are going to be on tests, items that need further clarification, or items that you just feel are important to you. So what you want to do is, if you do not have a structured time already set by your class to attend a virtual course, you want to make sure that you create that space. And that, again, that's going to look different for everybody. If you are working Mondays and Wednesdays, maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays, you watch your courses, but it needs to be consistent. So setting up a consistent schedule and keeping a routine will also help with feeling engaged. If you are able to come to campus, you are able to look at different study spaces, and that is something that's available at the Texas Women's University on all 3 of our campuses. You can look at the study spaces. I'm going to drop this in the chat as well so you can see the different study spaces that there are on campus. But what if you can't come to campus? If you can't come to campus, look for a local library, look for a local coffee shop, maybe a community college or another college that you've attended. Look for an opportunity to study in an environment where you feel like this is where I can maximize the hour that I have, the 2 hours that I have to study. pull yourself out of an environment that might not be as conducive to studying or as conducive to focusing. I'm going to take a step back here and I'm going to go over the reading part. When we go through reading, it's very important that we follow certain steps. One of those is the SQ3R method. This is an opportunity for you to review your material before actually going into lecture or before starting a reading. You'll also have access to this handout, and I'm going to drop that in the chat now if you want to look at that, but you'll also have access to it in the presentation. So the SQ3R is really simple. What you want to make sure you're doing is you're surveying the material. So if you are in a nutrition program, you're going to ask yourself, like, why would this be important? After you do the surveying, why would this be important as a nutritionist? Why would this be important as a biologist? Whatever your career goal is, you need to pique your interest by asking yourself questions. Step 1 and 2 should not take that long. Then you go into reading. This is where you actually have an opportunity to read the material. Now, I understand that you have busy schedules. Reading is not always realistic, but if you can survey the material and ask yourself questions, you are a step ahead before you go into lecture or watch a video. This will give you that opportunity to go through when you go in and read and take note of any items that might be difficult for you. If there's any charts or diagrams or examples you want to look at, this would be a great opportunity to do that. When you are reading, if you do not understand something when you first read it, it's okay. I want to let you know that it's okay. Keep reading. More than likely, what you are struggling to understand is going to start evolving, and you're going to start understanding it as you continue to read. Make sure that you rewrite things when you're done, when that would include creating summaries, making sure they're in your own words. If there's something that you wrote that you didn't quite understand, this would be that opportunity to go back and do further research. This would be that opportunity to take note of that. So when you go to lecture or watch a video, then you'll know what to especially pay attention to. Another quick tip is when you are reading, if you don't understand something, you can just write page 42. You don't have to write the whole paragraph down. If you're watching a video and you don't understand a certain part, write minute 2.2 so that you're not having to shift through those videos and find that spot again. Just write that and a question mark, whatever works for you. And then again, making sure that you're reviewing, just going through this process again. And again, you'll have access to this document so you can look at it with more detail. Now let's talk about during lecture. It's very important that if you are in a synchronous class that you arrive on time, that you be ready, which means if you're going to be typing, if you're going to be writing, your battery's charged, your iPad's charged, you have your material ready, and then make sure that you stay the full lecture. And sometimes that can be difficult with time constraints, but if you plan to say, I'm going to do, this is my class, everything else is going to have to wait unless it's not pressing. And this is what I'm going to do because I've told myself I'm going to allow these 2 hours to watch this video, to attend this lecture. Staying engaged with a discussion, this is very important. And I know just staying engaged with the content in general, just logging in is difficult, but it's also difficult to stay and watch a full lecture and to stay engaged during a lecture. So the best thing to do is keep your cameras on because that holds you accountable. Like there's some interaction going on. I have to be here and I have to be engaged. It keeps me from multitasking. Participate in the chat button. And when we participate in the chat button during discussions, it gives us an opportunity to see things from a different perspective. Maybe you didn't understand a thought, a question, a topic, but somebody else explains it in words that make sense to you, then you can understand it. Vice versa, if you're putting this information in, you can help somebody else. This is also an opportunity to say things like, I had difficulty understanding, or this was a difficult topic for me. So then this promotes critical thinking skills, and it helps us identify those areas where we are having gaps in knowledge. And so it could be scary too. It could be scary to add things to a chat because there's all the what ifs. What if I get it wrong? What if I don't spell it right? What if this is not what they asked for? Here's my suggestion. Do your work beforehand and trust yourself, okay? We cannot focus on being perfect. We have to be focused on learning and giving ourselves grace in these opportunities, okay? Summarize keywords, key points in your own words. Again, this helps with retention because if we're trying to recall information as your teacher said it, as you saw it on a PowerPoint or in a textbook, it's going to be difficult. When we put things in our own words, it really helps with that process of understanding. And when you're during lectures, you can't keep up with all the writing. If you find yourself just writing and writing and writing, you need to take a pause. And you need to ask yourself, why do you feel you're writing all of this? Is it because you didn't review the material beforehand? Is it because you don't understand this particular topic? Or is it that you've now turned into a court reporter? Okay, so we've got to understand what's going on. And then this is where the hard part, just summarize. If you're trying to write notes and you don't understand something, put a question mark, put a sad face, put whatever it is you know, and then do not let that hold you back. Keep going on the next topic, keep going on the next point. So when you're done with the presentation, this is the after lecture. Now we're going to identify the knowledge gaps and we're going to review. We're going to go back and we're going to look at those sad faces. We're going to look at those question marks and we're going to learn that material on our own. Apply what you've learned. Don't just review your notes. Don't just review your PowerPoints. Don't just watch videos and lectures over and over. That is passive learning. We need active learning. Active learning is where you're solving case scenarios, where you are answering discussion questions, where you are answering questions at the end of your book, you're going through your quizzes, you are applying what you know, even if it's not for a graded assignment. But this is how you learn because we're applying it. Remember, if you're going to be in research, if you're going to be a librarian or a teacher, those practicum exercises are how we relate, are how we think, and are how we apply what we've learned. And again, attend and participate in any review sessions, discussion board, tutoring opportunities, anything that you can to support this knowledge, okay? I'm going to go on to our next slide, but if you have questions along the way, please do not hesitate to use our chat button. Note-taking strategies. During the lecture, when you're skimming the material, you should identify words that may be new to you, theories, processes, people that they're going to be speaking about. If you can create an abbreviation or a symbol, then this will save a lot of time so that you're not writing the full name, the full word. There are going to be instances where you will need to spell the correct word, the correct medication. But if you can create symbols and abbreviation as you go, this will cut down time in your lectures. Write down key concepts. Remember, if you find yourself writing a lot of information, it's because we probably didn't do the reading beforehand and there's a learning curve. So we're going to write more. During lecture, you should be writing just key points, examples, case studies, opportunities to research material that might not be included in the syllabus. And then, most importantly, avoid multitasking. If you are sitting at home today, and you are also washing dishes, getting up and doing these other responsibilities, it could be difficult, right? Because if we have children at home, we need to pay attention to both. If we have things that can wait, it'll be okay. Let the dishes sit there. Let the laundry sit there. Get through what you were going to get through. Okay, it's just an hour. It's just 30 minutes. If you need to watch a video for 30 minutes, watch it for 30 minutes, take care of your responsibilities, and then come back for another 30 minutes. But you've told yourself this is something you're going to do. So this is the holding yourself accountable. After lecture, you want to make sure that you review your notes and that you do that review process within 24 hours. Why is reviewing it after 24 hours so important? This is a video that, this is one of our previous workshops, and I go into that in more detail, but what you'll do is you'll click more in the video, and you are going to come down to here, and there's different things here, but there's different things that can help you, but I just wanted to show you how to find that within the notes section, okay? And you'll also have access to this in the PowerPoint. You want to make sure that you summarize main ideas in your own words. We want to fill in gaps and clarify unclear points. It's some of the same information, but it's a process of repetition. Organize your notes and form connections. We want to make sure that we're able to connect A with B, with a cause and an effect, with a problem and a solution. And a lot of times when we're taking notes, we can't see those connections. So use what works for you. If you need to rewrite your notes, if you need to create study cards, study information like flashcards, mind maps, do that. And it's going to look different for everyone. So I want you to take comfort in knowing that this process is different for everyone. But what I want you to also understand is because you've always done it this way, doesn't mean it's always going to work, doesn't always mean that it's going to be time efficient for you. So if you've always created flashcards, don't sit there and create 100 flashcards. Pick the items that you need on the flashcards, and then maybe put the rest of it into another form, okay? So that's what we mean by creating study material. Now let's look at some time management techniques. So here's another question. Have you ever blocked out time to study? You sat down with good intentions. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this knocked out today. And then you realize an hour later that you barely made any progress. Let me see emojis. Let me see comments. Has this happened to anyone? It's happened to me. It's normal. Yes. Yes. Oh, yes. It's not just a yes. It's a, oh, yes, it's happened. Yes. A lot. It's hard to focus. It really is, especially when we have other things on our mind. So this is actually very common. It's a common experience for a lot of people to have. You sit there, you have these great intentions, you tell yourself, today's the day, you're going to get it done. It's due tonight, right? And we have all the intentions to do it, but something else comes up. Sometimes it can be things that we can't control. They're out of our control, and sometimes they can be things that we control. If you're struggling with focus, if you're struggling with concentration, then we sit and ask ourselves, what is it? Am I studying in bed? Am I studying in a place that I'm really getting distracted? Is the TV being on distracting? Am I hungry? Like, what's going on? If those things sound familiar, please know that you're not alone. What we're going to do next is we're going to talk about some strategies to make those study hours count. And we're going to look at some ways to help you retain information and feel confident in this process. The first one is a time management technique. It's very important. Again, I feel like I'm saying it's very important, but all of this stuff is very important. It's very important that we identify time blocks where we can study. I'm going to open up a document. Now, you'll have access to this document as well. However, you will need to download it to make a copy so that you can adjust it. I use this to help students understand where their time goes, just on a kind of a weekly level. This is a blank template. What I want you to do is I want you to go through here and I want you to add your responsibilities. If you work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, block out Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 as work. So then it puts into perspectives. I really need to make sure that I am being specific about what I'm going to do on my evenings and my weekends, and that I'm planning ahead of time to meet these deadlines since my time is more limited. So this is what a traditional one looks like. It might look like a student that's on face-to-face courses, that this is their class schedule. But what happens to online students? We don't have a specific time sometimes to take a course. You might be taking 2, 3, or even a full-time course load online. So if you don't have a time and day to go to, it can easily be it will easily slip away from us, and we'll end up waiting from Monday. I was going to do it Monday to now it's Saturday and it's due midnight Sunday. So what you want to do is you want to create blocks for your online classes. When you create these timeframes and you look at your other responsibilities, and you also include items like self-care or things that are important to you. Maybe you're a care provider for someone, and you can enter their schedule in here, and then look at items that look at the time frames where you have the flexibility to incorporate school time. This is called time blocking, and this might look different and may look way less for students in online courses. Okay, But if we can at least identify these time blocks, it puts into perspective, wow, I really don't have a lot of time to do this work. Or wow, I can really maximize my Saturdays, my Fridays, whatever this looks like. So make sure that you're getting through and we're putting all of this in. The last tab is just a finals prep. When I used this spreadsheet last semester, we kind of walked through what it looks like to plan in advance for finals. So you're more than welcome to look at that as well. All right, so we talked about time blocking. Again, it's a productivity tool so that when we tell ourselves we're going to sit here, that we're actually going to go through and make sure that it is a realistic time. The next one is SMART goals. A SMART goal is a goal setting technique that helps us with making sure that we're going to accomplish what we've said we've accomplished. A lot of times goals don't work because we're not specific. Let's go through an example. So SMART goals include specifics, something that is measurable, something that is attainable, something that is realistic, and something that is timely. Let's say, for instance, our goal is to spend more time studying for my online class. It's a great goal, but it lacks a couple of things. It lacks how we're going to measure this. It lacks when we're going to do it and when we're going to focus on. So let's look at a better example. Dedicate 1.5 hours on Tuesday and Thursday studying in the library for my online math class, submitting 100% of my homework one day before it is due. So now when we sit down on Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's not just going to be, I'm going to work on my classwork. I'm going to do everything that needs to be done. No, we've told ourselves that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to specifically work on math so that we do this work ahead of time. Now, if you are in a class where maybe you've fallen behind, you're struggling in this class, whatever it is, I challenge you to create a SMART goal for what you're going to do or what you can do in this class. And if anybody would like to reach out to me and send me that, I'm adding my email to the chat. But I challenge you, write a SMART goal. And there's no right or wrong. This is just guidance. If you want guidance on how to improve your goal, to make it a SMART goal to help you, please send me that and I'll be happy to review that for you. Okay. Any questions about SMART goals? Let's look at our next one. Our next one is the Eisenhower priority matrix. This is a productivity tool that's used to organize and prioritize tasks. I really like this next video that I'm going to show you because it does a good job about explaining what this looks like. So let's look at that. Please let me know if you can hear it.
Sometimes we can all get overwhelmed by a tremendous to-do list, so much to do in a day. And so when I feel that way, I use this tool called the Eisenhower Time Management Matrix. You may be familiar with it, but just in case you're not, it's the process of planning and managing tasks from your daily to-do list, allowing you to prioritize and focus your time on those tasks that will make you most effective. First of all, just draw a simple 4-quadrant matrix on a page, and then label each of the quadrants urgent, not urgent, important, not important. And then in no particular order, write down all the tasks you have to complete. And then populate each of the quadrants with all of the items from your to-do list, categorizing them in accordance to their importance and their urgency. And so, as you can see, it just helps to get some real visual clarity around all of those important tasks on your to-do list. And it also helps you to have clarity around those less urgent, less important tasks that you can either delegate to someone else or do at some other time. It works really well. I've been using it for years. And so I thought I would share it with you just in case you're not familiar with it.
So this is really a good opportunity for you to start or to help you get started, because a lot of times we have a lot of things on our plate, right? We've got personal things. We might have doctor's appointments, appointments for the people that you're caring for, as far as financial. I mean, there's so much going on, right? We got to worry about a bill due. We got to worry about what classes you're going to take next semester, when you're going to graduate. But none of it has to be, well, not all of it has to be done today. And we stress ourselves out because we feel that way. If you can go through this activity, and please, it doesn't have to be perfect, nothing has to be spelled correctly, just use this as an opportunity for you to release those items and place them on paper. There are things that you don't need to be addressed today. If it is a priority for you to reach out to your instructor, then we're going to determine, this is really going to impact my grade. Is this something that's urgent? Or is this something that's going to be about a class for next semester? Maybe it's an assignment that's coming up that you're not fully aware of what to do and how to do it, or something's missing. So those are things that are urgent, but maybe there's something that you need to look at for next semester. Maybe you're considering an internship or joining a student organization. Is that important today? How urgent is that for you to do that? Again, just like he said in the video, it provides clarity and it gives you that purpose for continuing and knowing what to focus on. This can look different for a lot of people. Again, maybe you're just trying to get through this weekend. Maybe you're just trying to get through Sunday. So then figure out what needs to be done today, what needs to be done by Friday, so on and so forth, just to get you through this week, okay? So feel free to use this as it applies to your best interests.
Sometimes we can all get overwhelmed.
The last technique is the Pomodoro technique. I tend to talk about this one a lot because it really, really does help. So let's look at what the Pomodoro technique involves. It is a time management and a focus technique. So with Pomodoro, traditionally what you do is you focus on a task and then you take a small break. You focus on a task, take a small break, focus on a task, and then you take a longer break. Here's the way I really like for this to be explained. And here's the way I feel it can help you. But again, please start off with maybe 25 minutes. So if you start off with 25 minutes, you're going to focus on a task, then take a 5-minute break. If you're doing this and you feel like 25 minutes is too short, adjust it. It's okay. If 45 minutes is when you start feeling fidgety, you start feeling like I need to move, then 45 minutes is a good max. If you're sitting there for 2-3 hours straight, you lose focus, you're uncomfortable, you're just doing stuff to do it, and it's not your full effort. So figure out what that magic time is, and then take these small breaks along with the longer break. If you feel that your small breaks are turning into you now, organizing your closet or stepping out and running an errand, then this is not Pomodoro. Okay, this is just a regular break. So schedule them so that you have that opportunity to maximize that time that you've set and your specific goals. And then before you start Pomodoro, before you start a task, you want to make sure that you're not hungry, you're not thirsty, you're not hungry, you're not sleepy, you're not distracted, you're not hot, you're not cold. Make sure all these things are taken care of, because as soon as you sit down, you're going to remember that you didn't eat, right? And then we get up and then we get distracted. Or you go to the bookstore and you get yourself a coffee and you run into a friend, right? And then time is just gone again. So make sure all that's taken care of. Then when you are sitting there and you're concentrating, and let's just say you're at 15 minutes in and those 5 minutes are really hard for you to push through, I want you to stretch your brain. Your brain is a muscle. So the longer you stretch it, the more endurance it'll have. So if you're used to getting up after 10 minutes or stopping a task after 10 or 15 minutes, you will keep doing that. I need you to challenge yourself to sit there for those 25 or those 45 minutes. Resist the urge to focus on other things, to shift your attention. So that when you get to that 25 or 45 minute mark, I need you to celebrate, because you made it. You're going to celebrate that you sat there, you did this, and you're going to take a 5-minute break. Put your timer on your breaks if you need them as well. Your breaks should be just minor things: water, restroom, stretch, check on something, and then come back. And again, if you need to stretch these 5-minute breaks to 10, that's fine. Whatever works for you. You don't have to use Pomodoro for everything. You don't have to use Pomodoro the way I explained it. The key here is work and break, work and break. That's what it is. Now, let's just say, for instance, you're working on Pomodoro. You're working on an assignment that is due. You've done 2 Pomodoros and you're like, I'm done. I can't write no more. I can't think no more. I've had enough. I want you to take a break, and I want you to shift. Shift to another assignment, shift to another task, and maybe do that for 25 minutes, 45 minutes, and then come back to it. but you still can complete it. We're just shifting tasks here. This is very beneficial if you have two tasks to work on and you work on them this way, if you tend to get distracted and just walk away, or in case you tend to just get overwhelmed and you just don't want to go any further. So you can use this strategy. Again, it is called task switching. You're just switching tasks. And it's a task that you need to do versus a task that you might not need to do, like, watching a movie or getting on your phone. So the other thing with Pomodoro is eliminate distractions. Make sure that, you have an environment that's least distractive, and that's not always possible. When it's not always possible, then wait till you have an opportunity to truly focus on that, okay? Building relationships in virtual assignments. So I had somebody say, I break down assignments, readings, lectures, and I do a reading, take a break, and etc. Yeah, so you've actually described a process. This is something in our chat. Thank you for participating. Where you break down assignments. This is called chunking. This just helps take how overwhelming something can be. When you take a task that's really large or just really overwhelming, divide it into parts. If you're going over a lecture and it's a 2-hour video, look at a good transition piece, and just if there's a different section, maybe complete one section and take your break. If you're looking at a PowerPoint and there are 100 slides, maybe take 25 slides before you take a break, before you read the other 25 minutes, before you switch. So again, this is going to look different, but I really do like that. Thank you for sharing. So let's talk about building relationships. Okay. Building connections in an online learning environment is important, but I also know that it is difficult. When you actively engage with your instructors and with your classmate, it really does help keep you motivated and keep you invested in the class. And studying in an online environment is a lot more difficult than a face-to-face environment, right? Because we can see people, we can hear people, we can interact with people. But when it's online, it's difficult to do those things and to see those things. So I want to acknowledge that happens. But here are some ways that you can interact so that you can increase your motivation, your engagement, and understand that the support systems are there for you and how you can utilize them. So this also increases accountability and participation. So let's look at how we can talk about these things to help us with staying engaged in an online environment. Building correct connections in a virtual environment. Reach out to your instructors, please. If you need to, reach out to your instructors. If we tell ourselves we're going to be checking our announcements, if somebody had a question about an assignment, your instructor more than likely, instead of emailing or addressing each question that comes through, will post an announcement. If there's a change to the syllabus, an additional material that needs to be read or reviewed, the announcements is the place you put that. But say, for instance, that you need to talk to your instructor about a personal situation, or just follow up to get some individual assistance or support with what you're doing. Connect with your professors. Keep in mind that if you reach out to your professor on a Friday night at midnight, please allow 24 to 48 hours to respond. And that is a great rule of thumb, because just because you're in a time of need doesn't mean that your instructor is necessarily available. This is why it's important to move our deadlines up, try to avoid working on things at the last minute, making sure that you understand assignments with enough time to allow you to complete the assignment and not feel rushed. So that's one thing to do. Create or join study groups. This is also hard, but if you have access to a discussion board, participating in those can help, or asking if somebody's interested. But a lot of times that's not always likely, because everybody has a different schedule. We don't know people, or we feel that we can't connect to people. But again, I am challenging you to try to do these things, to make connections, to create study groups. so that you have that opportunity to stay engaged. Engage in virtual networking opportunities. Pay attention to your emails. We get emails. Look at your newsletters that might be coming from your departments, your disciplines. Browse around the Texas Women's University website. We have a calendar for events, and we have Pioneer Engage. These are different opportunities for you to be able to attend virtual and in-person events. If you have an opportunity to go to campus, great. If not, there are virtual events like today's event, and different speakers coming in. They normally have virtual events, but this is an opportunity for you to feel engaged to maybe somebody in your discipline, maybe somebody that is familiar with what you're going through. So joining a special interest group can also help with that support system. Other than what I've mentioned here, has anybody else found ways that have helped them with connecting to building connections, whether that be internally or externally, when it comes to school? There are different ways. If you are in accounting, you can look up an accounting association and then just get newsletters. If you're in teaching, maybe you want to pay attention to news groups or things that are going on in the media. GroupMe, yeah, somebody typed in GroupMe. It's pretty popular. With GroupMe, please minimize your notifications because those can get out of hand sometimes. So let it be to where you are controlling when you get there or when you get those notifications versus them coming in at all hours of the day, because then also that could be confusing. So there's a question, where can you find special interest groups? Depending on your discipline, you could just search. You can look for like a state level, a national level. Let's just say you are interested in STEM. There are several STEM organizations that you can look into that might fit your particular need, your particular discipline, or your particular career path. But search those up. Also speaking to maybe an advisor, an instructor in that area, attending an event, like say, for instance, there's a networking opportunity for jobs. That's a great opportunity to ask how to connect, to see what are some events that they put on. So then now you're volunteering. So you've made those connections by finding somewhere to volunteer by attending an event. So those connections, again, they're difficult to form when we don't put ourselves out there. But then again, it can be challenging to do that. So I encourage you to create a goal for yourself to say what you're going to do and then how to do it. So if it is to find a special interest group, then maybe you're going to say to attend one online event this semester and then hold yourself accountable for that. Attend or volunteer in one event in my community. Okay. And then work towards making that goal more specific and fitting that SMART goal requirements. Okay. So if you tell yourself you're going to participate in one online school event this semester, make sure you're specific, make sure you actually carve out time to look at the events on campus and then carve out time to do it. Okay. Thank you for the question. Academic support. There is a link that I want to share with you. There's some information that is specific for graduate students, but it is a place where we can find a lot of resources in one place. So we have our graduate school. They have some resources here. Career Connections, they offer events virtual and in person. So if you're looking for anything career specific, if you're needing help with research, there are some links here. If you are needing help with childcare or just networking with other people who have children, our care department can help with that. Or if you just have specific needs that you just don't know how to go about finding these special needs, whether they be personal, academic, whatever that is, you can click to here in this care button. And then within care, you can fill out a request and they will look into those things for you. Again, here goes another one for care, and it just says off-campus housing, childcare, non-traditional students, scholarships, holiday gift program. There's so much involved in here. So take some time to look into that. We have our counseling and family therapy clinic. We have our CAPS, which are our mental health support for students, and you can click into there. We have a dental hygiene clinic. We have disability services for students that need accommodations or have questions. We have Fit and Rec. We just have so many resources. Here is the tutoring part. So we have a math and technology tutoring center. We have a science tutoring center. We have a department called the Right Site that helps with maybe starting a paper, understanding how to write a paper, just checking in to make sure that I am on the right track for what this assignment is requiring. So this is great. They say here specifically that they help with online students. So definitely check this out. We also have just additional resources. So that is one place you can go. I also want to take you to another place that's just a little bit deeper. If you go into the Texas Women's website and you go to student life and you go to mental health resources, depending on where you live, if you live outside of the state, a lot of these might not be applicable to you. But if you reach out to the CARE or CAPS office, they will be able to help you and give you some direction. But for our students who may be living within the vicinity of their campus, this is a mental health service that's available to our Denton students. We have another one that's available to our Dallas and our Houston students. This is open to all students. It's a mental health app. We have of course, the crisis number, if anybody's in need of that. We have Together All. Together All is a great opportunity. It's a safe online collaboration platform where you can engage anonymously with other people who are students, who know what it's like to maybe, be going through certain things. And it's all anonymous, and it is monitored by professional credentialed people. So that would be something you can look into as well. So just while we're here, I just wanted to take that opportunity to take you through that, and then some therapeutic resources on campus. So academic support, again, it is free. A lot of that is free, but some of that, I think there was a couple of ones that charge, and that was like the dental clinic and then one of the counseling areas, but they're specific and they tell you. So you'll have access to this link as well. What I want to do now is I just want to hear from you. What are some key takeaways that you have learned from today's presentation? So you can take your mic off. This is our opportunity to reflect.
I appreciate all the time management. I work from home, and I'm also going to school online, and so it just helps remind me that maybe I need to leave home to do some of these things. And I'd never heard of the Pomodoro technique, but I think it sounds very helpful. And that whole chunking, it's helpful to me.
Oh, great. I'm glad that you're able to take some of what we've gone over today. And it sounds like you've already taken some time to reflect on, like, hey, these are the things that I think will help me. But don't hesitate to make it work for you.
Right.
And there's always a different way to do it. A lot of times it's just we get stuck in the same routine. I'm at home, I do this, I do this, but you never have that opportunity to fully visualize yourself as a student when you're working from home.
In years, yes.
Yes. So you deserve it, Carla.
Thank you.
You deserve to be a student, get your little backpack ready, get your little lunch kit ready. I'm going to go and do it, that helps.
Well, and I think I thought I knew a lot, and I do, but this is new enough that it really takes some sideways thinking right now for me. So I appreciate that.
Well, great. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? You can use the chat. You can take your mic off. Anybody else have any takeaways that they've gotten from today's presentation? All right, let me help you a little. So engagement is intentional, okay? Log in regularly, make sure you participate, and then use your resources. Connection matters. right? When we form connections, this boosts our motivation, our accountability, and support system. So maybe we don't have a support system, or we do not have access to a big support system. This is where we have to be our own support system. This is where we have to be our own cheerleaders. This is where we celebrate our wins. And our wins are determined by us turning an assignment in on time, completing an assignment on time. These are wins, so celebrate them. It's never too late to re-engage, create a plan, and take action. If you are struggling with what that plan looks like, how to make that plan and take action, please again, reach out to me so I can send you some material, or we can just see what we need to do to help you with that process. And then again, success in online learning requires a lot of effort. And like I said, it takes very special people to be an online learner. And I want you all to know that you are all very special people. All right. So I do have a quick survey. If you don't mind just taking a few minutes to go through the survey, we have a QR code, and I'm also going to drop the link in the chat if you can take a few minutes to do that. And then I'm also going to open the floor to any questions. If anybody has any questions about material that we've covered, or just material that you're interested in that wasn't covered today, please, now is your opportunity to ask. All right. I don't think there are any questions. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn off the recording. If you're watching this video, you can click into this description section to get the handouts from today's workshop. Give me a second.